Hi everyone, this Friday's We're at Purple Day, a global initiative that shows people they have the right to be proud of who they are regardless of their sexuality or gender identity. As executive sponsor of Global, I'm very proud of the environment that we've created where people can bring their whole selves to work. We're at Purple Day is a way to bring together thousands of supporters' voices and show people that they're not alone. I really do encourage you to get involved and support this initiative by wearing something purple this Friday or holding a purple event such as a morning tea. I'm incredibly proud to work in a company that celebrates diversity, where our employees are supported to be themselves. Now, a couple of years ago, we shared some very moving stories from our LGBTI community, people who work for us. We did it to show people that if they're feeling bullied or just confused about who they are, that they're not alone, and it really does get better. These stories are just as inspirational today as they were a couple of years ago, so please take a look.
I was probably about 16 or 17 years of age when I first sort of started to realise I was perhaps maybe a little bit different to most of my friends.
I did hit puberty at a very young age. I knew I felt a little bit different. I was watching other kids and how they interacted with boys, girls, and I just had this feeling that something was a little bit different.
Some of my friends started talking about girls, and one of my best friends suggested I went out on a date with a double date with some girls, and at the time I couldn't really see the interest or the point in doing that.
So I kept it to myself, which put enormous stress on me, and the last thing I wanted was for someone to find out and out me.
I did experience feelings of loneliness and isolation because I didn't necessarily have a big support network and didn't know many people in the community or my community that were gay, lesbian or otherwise.
There's a feeling where you just don't fit in. You constantly editing what you're saying and making excuses.
So there were a couple of guys at school that didn't take me coming out as gay very well. They thought that I was going to hit on them because I was gay.
There was one kid who used to taunt me on the way home. He'd never physically hurt me, but he would call me all sorts of things.
There was definitely, the comments and just being quite nasty because they could be, and it was something different.
There were a couple of instances at school where a gang of guys would bash me up. The worst was when I had 2 teeth knocked out and I had to get 6 stitches. I was off school for 2 weeks. The only punishment for the guy that hit me was 3-day suspension.
One of my parents was not supportive and not happy at all, and that's because they had raised me to be a Christian.
My mum just burst into tears. She said to me, don't tell your brother, don't tell your father. And it was one of those, it was a terrible moment.
It would have been a couple of months had gone past, and I got a phone call, and it was my father. He said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know you, you're no longer a part of this family, you're disinherited, and if you want to see your mother, you have to make arrangements. Then he hung up, and I collapsed on the kitchen floor and cried like a baby for quite some time.
Life started to get better for me once people knew. Once I was actually able to be in an honest relationship, not only with myself, but with my then partner.
My father turned out to be extremely supportive. My brother was upset that I hadn't actually confided in him.
He finally got his head around it. And again, in hindsight, that's when I really started to be comfortable, because I wasn't lying to anybody. My parents are fiercely defensive of their children. So I knew if anything happened, they had my back. And that's what changed me and basically gave me the courage to do whatever I wanted to do.
My now fiance, we just got engaged in February. And so we're in the middle of planning a wedding in the United States for later next year. And she's incredible. And her family have been so supportive, and as have mine, both parents.
It was the moment I went back for Christmas to bring my partner for the first time, and to see my family accept him as the same as my brother's wife and my sister's boyfriend at the time was just a euphoric moment. I remember driving away with tears of happiness in my eyes, because it was a point for me where I knew that life had got better.
Seriously, if you are struggling with either coming out or with your identity, believe in your heart. Do it, because the minute you do, things will get better, believe me.
It really does get better.
It gets better.
It really gets a lot better.
Now, I'm sure you were as moved as I was when hearing these stories, and I'm delighted to report that 2 years on, these people are all still working in our Westpac group. Christopher works in our Kogarah Contact Centre as a customer solutions banker. Gavin is a retention manager at BT and has recently become a qualified personal trainer. He and his partner just ran their first City to Surf together. Brad is working with the Know Your Customer Specialist support team as a business support officer, and life did get better after the video. In his own words, he's loving life, he has a new partner, and he's feeling healthy after losing a lot of weight. And Lucy is the events lead for Global and works in our mass marketing team. She's busy planning an Australian wedding later this year with Amy, and they've just bought a house together in Erskineville in Sydney. It's terrific that each of these people felt empowered to share their stories with us, and it's testament to the inclusive culture we have here at the Westpac Group. Thank you very much for watching, and please enjoy Wear It Purple Day.